me crazy just looking at it. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip, it's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when you're biting your lip, it's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. Without you, driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip, it's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezes and it's just you. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezes and it's just you. You do this thing when you're biting your lip, it's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. Give it to me like world without you. Crazy just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live without you.
It would help if I muted the mic. You can say I'm still waking up. Either way, morning people. Hope everything is good. Well, after yesterday, I mean, I'm not even going to go into too much detail without yesterday. I just want to go through now what I thought of the players as a whole, one by one. Because I think like everybody else still got the ump about it yesterday. I mean, where did that go wrong? I suppose some could even ask, where did it even go right? But like I said on the intro picture, Ange, mate, we did it again. Because it ain't the first time this has happened. The thing's definitely scaring me now. This isn't going to be the last time either. There's teams that we are able to play this way against. And there's teams that it's just not going to work against. And unless Ange comes up with a plan B on how to deal with a situation, I'm losing faith in my man, because it's Ange who has stated, clear as day to everyone, I know I keep repeating it, but that he's not going to change his ways. You could get a much better team in there and it's still going to concede goals. It's his style of play. You score 3, we score 4. Do you know what? It reminds me of, who was the manager? I think it was Kevin Keegan with Newcastle, if I remember right. Someone tell me if I'm wrong. When he ended up going tits up against Man U because Fergie wound him up. That was how Newcastle played. You could either get away with it then, because it was a whole different culture, a whole different style of football. But the Premiership is just too good for this style to be played all the time. Now, just to make it clear to a few people on here, yeah, like people who watch this later, whatever else and that. I've been told a few times now that I'm negative, I'm toxic, Ange out, everything else and that. Why? Because I have a different opinion. Well, sorry, people. If you don't like the opinions or you don't like the way I say it, like I've had a couple of complaints, don't watch the bloody show then. Turn it off. It's as easy as that. It's not particularly hard, is it? I don't force nobody to watch this. But if you just want an honest opinion of your average, everyday Spurs supporter, I will give it to you. And I will not hold back if I think someone has screwed up or if someone has done good. But if somebody can come on here or say on the side or on any other show I go on and either prove me wrong or make some good points, I'll put my hands up and I'll say, do you know what? Fair play, mate. You got that one. But Ange has got to adapt. We keep repeating it, but he's got to change this. He doesn't necessarily have to change it for a whole game either. When you go 2-0 down and you're getting hammered down the flanks, or 1-0 down, should I say, sorry, and you realise something isn't working, it's not clicking with the team, then you change for a little bit. Go a bit more defensive. Let things slow down because the other team's going to be fired up. They're going to come for number 2, or a lot of teams do. So you got to get your head together, sit back, take it for a few minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, or ride out the next 15 minutes, whenever the goal is scored till half time, and then make some changes. He cannot keep waiting until we're 3-0 down. I think one of the things that really got on my nerves yesterday was the fact that he waited until we was 3-0 down before he made a single change. I thought he learnt his lesson with Fulham. Because the next 2 games we've done, he made some brilliant subs. And then he just goes back to how we did with Fulham. Are you seriously telling me, people, that this manager we got just all of a sudden, I don't know, what did he do? Lose his mind or something? Just totally forget about the past? I don't know. But it looked that way. Other thing that's really starting to bug me with Ange, I mean, there's a few things I can say on here, and I can preach him up as well. I love the way he's got the club together. I love the way he's got the fans together. I like the way, I do like the attacking football. But mate, to win a game, you've got to be able to defend as well. You can't just go all out attack. You can't do it. It's not going to work. Not overall. Not for the season. And like a few people keep saying, he's got to adapt to the Premiership. It's not Scotland. No matter how offensive that is to people, it's not. He's playing against the real teams now, the top teams. So he's got to work out things during the game. All right, you go into a game, you've got your plan. Right, this is how I'm going to do it. And then, if it's not going right, you change a few things. But he doesn't. Why? Is it going to change next season? I'm starting to wonder because he said he's not changing his way for nobody. So I'm going to give him the time to the end of the season because he's done well to where he's got us. Credit where it's due to the man, yeah? He has done well where he's got us, especially for his first season. But if this carries on, I think I'm going to give him 6 months of next season. And if I still see him making the same mistakes, being so stuck up that set in his way that he just will not change in certain games where he really needs to change it, I'm going to be Ange out. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. And I know it brings Spurs back to square one again. And we have to start again with another. It's early in the morning, so I'll keep it. With another bloody process. But do we actually want to win something here? Do we? We do. I do. I presume everyone on here does. Not this way when you play the big boys. When you get to a cup final and you're playing Man City, Arsenal, even Chelsea, they're going to get better. Or you're playing Man U. I know they're pretty crap, but they're going to get better. Aston Villa. Look what happened against Fulham. Look what happened against Newcastle. It's going to cost us. And for me, he's got the rest of the season because he's done respectable. He's done good. Credit where it's due. But then I'm giving him 6 months. He's going to have got more players, hopefully. And he has said that every player that comes in is my choice. So it's on his head. Yes, Levy, it depends how much money that brings into it. But we're going to have to wait and see. So I'm going to say to everybody, give him that bit of time. But for me, he hasn't got the whole of next season. He's got 6 months next season. 6 months, half the season. And if I do not see him making changes in games, I'm Ange out. Now, if he makes changes in games and the changes don't work, I'll give him till the end of the season. Why? Because I can see that my man is trying. I can see that he's lost it. I mean, what is it with Ange? Is he just that naive or learning in the Premiership? Or is he just that bloody ignorant? Ignorance is bliss. My way, it always works. It always has, so I do it my way. So, right, I'm going to catch up with a few people on the side here after I've had my hit. That's my coffee. Ouch, that's still bloody hot. I need my coffee in the morning. It's my hit. I need it. I can't live without it. Right, who've we got on the side here? Strasbourg Steve. How you doing, mate? Good to you as well, mate. I haven't actually seen you on YouTube for a little while. I mean, I do watch quite a few of the pages and that. I just must not catch you on there, but I hope everything's cool for you, mate. Always been a laugh to talk with you on the shows I've been with. Tom, morning, everyone. Morning to you too. Darren West, morning to you too, mate. And that's Strasbourg Steve saying morning. And yes, it was Keegan. Yeah, I was pretty sure it was. But again, that is how they were playing. You score 3, we score 4. It nearly worked. But it's also what cost him in the end. But again, different times, different players, different managers, different teams, different generations. Back then, it was really you only ever had one team on your back. Obviously, Man U going for it all the time. They either had Arsenal on their back. At one stage, they had Chelsea on their back. And another stage, that one was Newcastle on their case. It was only ever out of 2 teams, really. It's still only out of 2 teams, 3 teams now most of the time. But the difference is with the Premier League now. And this is why people love it. Anybody can beat anybody. Man City can go and play against Luton and play the best football they've ever played. They can still lose. This is why people love the Premiership. Right, JTB 2018. I don't know if I've seen you on here before. My memory isn't great, mate. Yeah, but if I haven't, so thanks for coming on and good morning to you. Been saying this for months. We only play well in brief parts of games. We are wide open defensively, and our defending from set pieces is ridiculous. Sadly, we will get spanked in our next 3 games. Just a moment quiet for that one. He's right. He's right. I, for the first time in, I'd say, about 7 years, am scared of playing Arsenal. I'm scared. I don't even really want to watch the game. Now, I know it's a London derby, and anything can change in this London derby. We all know that, yeah? How Spurs or Arsenal are in the league, one can be top, one can be bottom. It just all changes when it comes to the London derby. But if we play like this, they're going to tear us a new one. I know people are going to give it to me on the side or on another site, whatever, and that well, hang on a second, we've done 3-3 at their ground. Yeah, we've done all right in the second half. We got it together. And do you know what? We could have even won that game. But Arsenal weren't on fire then. They was just rolling. Now, looks-wise, they're the best team in the Premiership. Hands down. But they haven't got the best squad. But at the moment, Arsenal are playing the best football in the Premiership. Their defence, solid. Their attacking, solid. Their midfield, don't seem to be a problem. If we end up pushing that high, Saka is going to have a field day. Or Martinelli. Or Trossard. And Trossard is a player I rate very highly. I would have loved to get him at Spurs. And then you have Odegaard in the middle with the passes. I mean, Havertz up front. I would usually laugh at that like we all did at the start of the season, but even he seems to have pulled his finger out. Then you've got Saliba and Martinelli as their defenders. And I just can't see how Werner, Johnson and Son are going to open that up. I'll go to Son soon because I've got a point I want to make with him. I'm scared to play Arsenal. I am scared. Man City and Liverpool goes without saying. And I know we've got a Chelsea game coming somewhere. Chelsea, I won't say I'm scared to play Chelsea because I've already accepted that 9 times out of 10 they just beat us anyway. So that's just one of them things. That's just life. Man City, can't say I'm really scared of because we usually do well against Man City. But even if they beat us, it's Man City, isn't it? So same with Liverpool. Pardon me. But I am genuinely scared of Arsenal coming to our ground and doing what they did to West Ham. They are more than capable of doing it. Our team is more than capable of cocking up for it. I am genuinely scared, I know I've repeated it 10 times now, that they can actually come to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, White Hart Lane, whatever we want to call it, and do us a new one and some. And there will be no lube. I am not looking forward to this game. And I reckon I could say that most of the people on here, most of the people that watched the video after, are scared. I know there's going to be people on it. I'm not scared of Arsenal. I don't care about them. It's just the scum. It's just this. It's just that. Yes, and at the moment, they are playing the best football, and we have to play these next. I ain't looking forward to it. But I'll go back to the point with the people here. So, Strasbourg, Steve, honestly thought Spurs were going to beat us. I was looking at a 2-2. I thought we'd at least score. However, once we scored the 2 rapid fire in succession, I honestly thought, okay, we'll beat these guys. Spurs offered next to nothing after those 2 goals. The only thing I'll correct you on there, mate, because everything you just said there is bang on. The only thing I will correct you on, it wasn't 2 goals. It was 1 goal. After that first goal, we fell to pieces. And then obviously the second goal, quick as it was, I suppose you can put them both together. We just fell to shambles. Whereas the first 10, 15 minutes, it did not look that bad. I mean, for a third person, it must have been an interesting game to watch because it was going back and forth, back and forth. You could definitely tell we was going to concede. We always do. I mean, what is it? 2 clean sheets in 25 games now? 24 games, 25 games. Someone do tell me it's one or the other. That, I'm going to repeat what Brian said yesterday, yeah? I mean, it's basically what I think as well. But Brian put it in such a brilliant way yesterday that I had to agree with him. Well, it's not had to. I did agree with him because it was a fact. I was more embarrassed about yesterday than that smashing we got last year. That smashing we got last year, I mean, you look at the manager we had, or well, even if you want to call him a bloody manager, and you look at that team we had. Now, you look at this team we've got here, and everyone keeps bigging up this defence. I keep saying everyone, sorry. A majority of people keep bigging up this defence. I big up this defence for the 2 centre-backs we got. I don't think Romero is a world-class defender. I think he's an extremely good defender. World-class gets used way too easy for me. And we've got probably one of the best upcoming defenders in Europe. who I feel for this style of play is even more important than Romero. Okay, our wing backs ain't the best defenders, but extremely good on going forward. Porro's got a lot better at defence. Udogie, past 5 games, he has been lazy at coming back. His defending isn't the best, but it's better than Porro's. But that's actually a good back four we got there. Yet we concede all the time. Without fail. Without fail. So how can we have this great defence and concede so many goals? It almost doesn't make sense. But it does when you watch the games. Even when you look at the stats, and this is where stats are just BS as far as I'm concerned most of the time. Because actually on the stats, you can look like you've had an epic game, but you still lose it. All the possession in the world, all the shots in the world. But if you don't bloody score them and you're conceding every game, you're not going to win. So I'll go back to the side then, since I keep drifting off on now. I do apologise to people for yesterday. Language was a bit atrocious, but I wasn't impressed, like I think a few people noticed. My wife pulled me aside on it and said, I think you swore too many times. But either way, if people don't like it, they don't have to watch it. Nicholas, it doesn't matter who he brought on or what he did yesterday. These players are the issue. No, mate. I'm going to go 50-50 with you on that one, yeah? It did matter who he brought on and when he would have brought them on, or when Ange would have changed his style a little bit. The players were terrible yesterday. No two ways about it. But are you seriously telling me Ange done his job yesterday? You can't just blame it all on Ange, but no way can you just blame it on all the players either. I know the players have got to play the game, and there were definitely mistakes in there by players, no two ways about it. But Ange's meant to be the manager, the one on the side. Come on, boys, get it together. Start telling people what to do. My man just stands there like he's got a straw hat and a cigar. It doesn't look very enthusiastic. I get it. Everyone's different. Every manager's different. No, I don't want no psychopath like Arteta running up and down the pitch screaming like he's lost the plot. But you know what? I hate to keep saying the name, but I didn't mind it when Conte done it when he switches on the players because they ain't getting it right. They need to be told. You end up looking over to your manager because he is screaming at you. Pull your finger out. Get your act together. What does Ange do? Nothing. You might see him throw his arms up in the air when we concede a goal or miss a chance. And that's really the most I see of him. But I'm not at the game, so I can't see everything. I can only see what the TV shows me. Always point that way because that's where my TV is. He just don't seem enthusiastic. So this is down to Ange as well, because he should have made subs at half time. He should have changed the way we was playing after we conceded that first goal, because it was not the first time that the ball had come clean over and we had been caught naked. So no, it's not just down to the players. This is Ange as well. This is Ange's tactics. But I'll make you right. I'll make you 100% right with the players. Every single one of them, shocking yesterday. Shocking. Hotspur TV, how you doing, mate? Hope you're having a good morning. Had a good chat with you last night, and I must admit, you are one of the people that I must admit I agree with. I'd say 90% of what you say on here. Again, everyone's got their own opinions, and we're all entitled to our own opinions. But a lot of what you say, mate, you call it. I feel a lot of fans are, again, it's either naive or ignorance is bliss. We got to give Ange his chance. But and we pick out the good points. But you've got to tell someone when they get it wrong as well. And I feel a lot of Spurs fans just cannot handle it when you tell them they got it wrong. When you say that Spurs got it wrong. When you say that Son had a crap game. When you say that Son is on a bit of a purple patch, whatever people want to call it. Not a phrase I like, but I use that phrase because people understand it. They don't like it. Well, then be happy with what you've got. And that's one cup in how many years? 14, 15, 16, whatever. Be happy with it then. I'm not. And Nick, what you're saying there? 2 out of 10 for all of them, including the manager. Well, mate, you just made me right on that one because you've even said the manager just got a 2 there as well. So it wasn't just down to the players, but I pretty much agree on what you said. I wouldn't say all of them are 2, but some of them you could say a -1 for God's sake. And what's Nick saying here? Attackers win you games. Defenders win you titles and championship. And that isn't taking the mick, mate. That is being 100% serious. And people don't seem to realise this. Another thing that wins you leagues, wins you cups, is a goalkeeper. Something we've lacked on for a long time, because for me, Lloris was already done 3 years, nearly 4 years before we had him out. Defenders and goalkeepers win you stuff. Yes, you need to score goals as well. You need the whole team to be working. People complain about styles of play, counter-attack and everything. I have to use Conte again. Again. He went Chelsea, played Arsenal, got torn a new one and said, you know what? This ain't working. Changed his style. Total different counter-attack. Next season, Chelsea were brilliant to watch, whether you liked them or not. With the counter-attacking, they held it all. And so fast forward, how many goals did they concede that season? 15, 16, something like that. A very small amount. And they also banged in the goals and won the league. You need that defence. You need your goalkeeper. Every team that has won that league has had a solid goalkeeper at the time. I can't think of one that hasn't. If someone can, again, do show me. Because, as I say, my memory isn't the greatest at times. Right, Ratish. Sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. Like everybody already sees it. Pronouncing names and everything. I am not the best at it. Morning, Dan. Morning to you too, mate. Opal's good. Ange's inability to come up with different tactics are proving to be a red flag. I mean, I know I'm like 20 minutes behind the chats, whatever, and that, but mate, you're 100% right. This is one thing I'm very scared of. Strasbourg Steve. Yo, Dan, why do you think you are so poor on defending set pieces? A 4th goal, Scar, was too easy. Yeah, Kulu totally lost him. Why are we so poor on defending set pieces? Because at the start of the season, we actually weren't. Why? One of the reasons is because Vicario has been sussed. Great goalkeeper, brilliant shot stopper. He's passing out, respectable. Not all goalkeepers are like Alisson or Edison and that lot. Extremely good goalkeeper. Can come out and catch the ball. But one thing, and he's very aggressive when he's shouting at people, telling people what to do. Almost like a captain style. But one thing he doesn't seem to have the bottle with is pushing a defender out the way. Half of those ones he lets in on corners or a free kick coming over or whatever, where he gets muscled in, if that was Pickford, he'd grab him up by the scruff of the neck. Get out my way. He don't do that. He don't even push him out the way. Goalkeepers get away with that stuff in England. They get away with that stuff in general, especially in England, though. So, mate, use it. But if that is his weakest point, which it obviously is, then why are the defenders not covering him? Or if the defenders cover the whole box, get a midfielder in there to cover it. I don't care if you get Son in there to cover him. Get 2 people in there to back that goalkeeper up. The players should be seeing themselves. But I go back to Ange. Tell them the goalkeeper isn't that powerful. He gets muscled out. He gets sandwiched. Right. Cover him. Give him help. Is that down to Ange or is that down to the players? Is it just that Ange don't say it, so they don't do it? Or they're professional players and they should see it whether the manager says it or not? Who knows? We don't know what gets said behind the lines, do we? But we don't seem to cover him. We might have a defender there now and again. But in general, we don't. And no one seems to jump up and head the ball either. Very rarely. Yeah, I must admit, on that one, Steve, I'll give you the reason why. But it's easy enough to fix. Stop letting your goalkeeper get sandwiched. But we just let it happen. Brilliant defence we got. Right, Nick, Strasbourg, Steve. Steve up, mate. We can't defend. We could if we weren't up the other end of the pitch most of the time. But like we just said, even on the set pieces and that, we just can't seem to do it. It's frustrating. We need to judge Ange at the end of the season too, not this season. That's basically what I said, mate. I do agree with you, yeah? But again, I am going to pick the points on the bad games that he has. I am going to pick the points on where I am feeling threatened by my team, where there's a red flag, whatever people said it. You can only judge by what you see. And yes, I do agree. We got to make that proper judgment next season. Like I said, next season, he's got 6 months with me. I don't know how long he's got with others. 6 months, my man's got. And if he does not change nothing, then I'm Ange out. Just the style of play during the game, if it's not working. If I see him at least putting the effort in early enough to do that, I can give my man till the end of the season even longer. But we can only pick up on our points at the moment, Nick, on what we are seeing. And what we are seeing is the same problems over and over and over again. Literally every game, at least one of the goals we concede is exactly the same as the past 25 games, 20 games, whatever. That tells us something, doesn't it? It tells us that something ain't working with his system. I suppose everyone sees it differently. But I'll make you right. We can't make a full judgment on our man until he's had another transfer window. Oh, pardon me. And until he's got more players in that he wants. So I do agree with you. You are right there. I don't agree with people that are starting to go into one now saying Ange out. No, not Ange out now. No. Okay, he's adapting to the Premiership and everything, like we said earlier, even though there's certain bits where it looks like he ain't adapting. And like I said earlier, is he that naive or is it ignorance is bliss again? But I totally make you right. But for me, he's got half the season next season. No changes, I'm Ange out. And Ratish at Strasbourg, Steve, big up, bro. You guys were awesome yesterday. Yep, going to roll down a couple more on that. I think Nick's saying their season. Yep, for me, 6 months. Right, JTB, what you saying here, mate? Sorry, where are my manners? Morning, mate. Hope you're well. Great show. Thanks. Strasbourg, Steve. The most shocking thing was that you didn't score against us. I think Eddie Howe has made some nice tweaks to improve the defence recently. But our back four was Murphy, Kraft, Scar, can't pronounce names properly, Byrne, I'm not even trying to pronounce the other name. And you haven't even got your first goalkeeper. Nick Pope, I think, is a quality goalkeeper. Underrated. I think he's better than Pickford, personally. Mate, we didn't score against you because it was just that poor. There was nothing getting set up. It was just terrible. But you would expect that we score against a team as depleted as Newcastle. Damaged goods. And they walked all over us like they had a full squad, their full team, and like we had the team of last season. Embarrassing. But I'll make you right. I mean, we usually score in games as well. But yesterday, what a complete show. I'm sure everyone knows what word I want to say first. The Spurs fan. All right, Dan, sorry, but only Son is capable up front. Our wingers are gash, mate. Yep, I agree. They are not consistent enough for scoring goals. Johnson is a very patchy player for me. 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. But he does score a couple of goals. And what a beautiful cross he put in yesterday. And I know crossing ain't his strong point. But what a good cross. Timo Werner, what was you doing, mate? Okay, if he can't head the ball, he could have at least tried to control it with his left foot because it was the perfect height and then have a go. He puts it over the bar. And I'm having debates with people who want Timo Werner in. Really? That is where you can tell there is a problem. When people are happy to have someone like Timo Werner. Very fast, good on the ball, got the bottle to get round the player. When it comes to shooting, he's terrible. He's £15 million for a reason. It don't take Einstein to work this out. And a lot of people want him at Spurs. Not for me. You know what? Just going back onto the Werner bit, yeah? I actually thought in January, not a bad call. Not as just a little block sort of thing to take the space up for the rest of the season. Because he does play Ange style and he plays exactly the same as Son. Like I've said a million times, it's just he's a poor man's Son. He's just nowhere near as good at what he does, but he plays that style. So getting him for that, it wasn't a bad idea. But if we go and buy him, no, not for me. Not at all. And Son is our only real out-and-out capable scorer. And even he goes through patches where he'll score 6 straight games and then won't score for 3 games. And then he'll score 4 goals in 2 games. And then he'll go a couple without. He's done it all his career. He's a brilliant player. He really is. But we can't just rely on Son as the striker when it's blatantly obvious in games where the others are holding back and sitting back, he has not got the physical capability to muscle his way through there. And he hasn't got the eyes of Kane to get in the right places. Son's best way as a striker, like was proved, was when Kane sat behind him a bit and Kane played as more of a target man, I'd say. Kane gets the ball because one thing we all know is Kane can actually pass that ball. He's just a brilliant all-round complete striker. Son goes past him, straight over, leg it, onto it, in the back of the net. That is Son's strong point. Not sitting in the box, waiting for it, because he hasn't got the muscle to do it. He really hasn't. And the Spurs fan, just subscribe. Thanks, mate. It's appreciated. We play a high line against Arsenal. They will hammer us. Ange ball is a myth. Mate, I don't even like the phrase Ange ball, but I think we all use it because we know what it's relating to. But Ange ball, whatever. Then do we call it Pep ball, Klopp ball, whatever else? I just think everyone wanted to get Conte ball out their head. But people relate to it as Ange ball just because it's his system, it's his style. And what's Nick saying here? At the Spurs fan, Son's not capable either. Like I said, he's slowly going downhill as well, and that's only purely because of age. But he has done a brilliant job on scoring goals and taking that place as a striker. But we need an out-and-out striker. Desperately. JTB, no lube, laugh out loud. Yeah, it was, mate. Completely. I'm scared to watch it. Chavsky always raise their game against us, same as West Ham do. I mean, for West Ham. West Ham playing us is like us playing Arsenal. This whole season's sort of falling apart, but we can still get top four. We can still get Champions League, which I don't think is going to do us any favours. But us beating Arsenal is like our own little trophy. Sad, but true. And if we can actually beat them and screw up their season, in that aspect, I'll be a happy man. Call it raw, call it what you want. But that's how I feel on that one. Right, Spurs fan again. Basuma must go. He played well the first 5 games. Sarr and Bentancur must play out of their skin against Arsenal. Mate, the thing is with Basuma, I bigged him up so much and I said he can do more for us on the pitch and I think he's better than Bentancur. I got it wrong. I got it totally wrong. They're 2 totally different players as well. I mean, Bentancur is not box to box. Bentancur was at his best at Juventus, a deep line playmaker, defensive midfield, all in one sort of thing. And he's also good playing in the centre and mid, and also not bad at getting forward, but as a playmaker as such. Basuma is not a defensive midfielder, and we keep putting him there. He's a box-to-box man, and that's when he's at his best. And the way I've seen him play again for Brighton against teams like us, I mean, he cooked us a new one. Man City, Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool weren't willing to spend 65 million on him for no reason. They just didn't want to spend 80 at the time. And we all know he's got it in him. I think that is the most frustrating bloody thing on a player, when you know he's got it, but it's not that he hasn't performed for 5 games. He hasn't performed for about 25 games. I don't know what happened to my man. I don't know. But I'm going to stand up and I'm going to say to anybody that I tried bigging up Basuma over Bentancur, I got it wrong. Sorry, I got it wrong. We can't all get it all right. I got it wrong. And for me, the way he's playing, gone. Gone. I'd rather keep Højbjerg. I think he gets slated too much. Yes, he has his proper moments. But if we want to play an out-and-out DM, Højbjerg is our best option. Just an anchor man sort of thing. I'll relate him to another player. He's a poor man's Roy Keane. But if that's what we want there, we got to get a player who plays best there. If we want a player who can play DM and also pass it out a bit, then Bentancur's got to go there. Sarr, no. He's too breakable at the moment in that aspect. He hasn't got the physicality yet. And plus, I think he's better as a box-to-box anyway. He's not a DM. So depending on what we want to do in the DM place, which a number 6 is what we need terribly. Because every time the flanks are naked, one of the centre-backs has to come out. The other one goes in the middle. Where's anybody else? Porro's still up the other end of the pitch. Not even his fault. It's because what the manager has told him to do. The DM should be coming back and covering. Or he should come back and cover the middle where the others have had to go forward if he can't get over there quick enough. Basuma, where are you, mate? You still on holiday? I don't know. He has gone to crap. Sell him. We'd still get 30 mil for him. We'd get our money back on him. But the way he has played, he has been absolutely terrible. And how does he even start the games? Again, Ange, what are you doing, mate? He has played crap in every single game, bar Palace, where he got told to stay back as a DM, and he actually did the job. But why does he keep starting Basuma over Højbjerg? I know Højbjerg ain't good either, but he ain't going to do no worse than bloody Basuma. I think that's pretty much nigh on impossible at the moment. Or at least go and stick Basuma as a box-to-box man up there. If you don't want to play Sarr or whatever. No. I'll take that back. Basuma, get him off that pitch. winding myself up now. Frustrating. Bill, morning, mate. How you doing? Remember, Dan, we aren't allowed to speak. You know what, mate? Yes, we are. People can make comments all they want. Everyone's allowed their opinion. I mean, I've been told on other shows and that, you're not a professional manager. What would you know? I know my football and I know what I see, but no, I'm not a professional manager. So what would I know when I can't make a comment? Well, if someone wants to tell me I can't make a comment because I'm not a professional manager, then they can shut up and wind their neck in as well, because they're not a professional manager. So who are they to judge me for making a decision? Call it opinion. I'll say what I want to say. I'll say what I believe. Somebody prove me wrong, or someone give me a good opinion, because I'll listen to anybody. I'll put my hands up and I will admit I'm wrong. But we aren't allowed to speak. I speak. I don't care, mate, what people think, whether it's... If you don't like it, don't bloody watch it. Lily White Lane, how you doing, mate? Afternoon, Dan. Well, I don't know where you are, mate, but it's not quite afternoon here. Hope you're good. And he says hello to all the chat. I know I'm well behind here, but I'm just trying to answer the questions as I go through it. I haven't even gotten to the players yet, and I was only intended to be on here 40 minutes. But the wife's taken my little brother-in-law out, her little brother, so do you know what? I've got more time than I actually realised. So, JTB. Also, Basuma had had a 6 behind him at Brighton. He played a 6 a couple of times, but like I said, I know I'm a bit behind whatever in that, but I'm making you right. Box to box is Basuma's strongest point. Yes, he can come back and cover, but he also is very good at getting forward, very energetic, good on the ball. Passing leaves a bit to be desired, but he can control a game. And we've seen him do it. Him and Maddison at the start, best 2 midfielders in the Premiership. Obviously not by skill and that, but the way they were playing at the time, it was the best midfield in the Premiership. I mean, I don't know how many others just need that hit in the morning of a cup of coffee, but I do. I find it hard to get going without my coffee. Right. So, also, Basuma had a 6 behind him at Brighton. Ange should try Sarr there, sitting behind him. No, not Sarr. Stick Bentancur there. Or stick Højbjerg there. But at the moment, get Basuma off that pitch. And have a plan A, B, and C. Embarrassing to only have one formation in 2024. He's got a point. Some people don't like calling it a plan B. Some people prefer, like, he needs to tweak, he needs to do this. He needs to call it what the flipping hell you want. It's that saying again that I keep repeating that word. I'm literally sick of it myself. I'll probably bite my tongue saying it soon. He needs to adapt. But every good man, even Arteta has a plan B. He knew that if he went to Man City and played the way Arsenal have been playing, they could win. But there's a very good chance they don't. So what did he do? He sat back and he played counter-attack. Wasn't pretty. Was a crap game. But he got a point. And to go to the Etihad and get a point, I don't think there's many people who complain, except Liverpool. And they've got every fair reason to. Every quality manager, even a good manager. Newcastle's manager yesterday, sorry, his name's just gone out my head. He even changed it yesterday to play against us. And it worked. Because we played the same bloody way every game. 100% agree with you, mate. You know what? And don't worry about the plan C at the moment, mate. Just get a plan bloody B. Spurs fan. We looked scared, to be honest. Yeah, after that first goal in, we did. We looked terrified. We looked terrified of it was going to happen what it did last season. And it basically did. Other mad thing is I'm trying to quit smoking. You know what? I don't even smoke that much. I really don't in general. It's only when I'm on here talking about Spurs or down the pub. I mean, I've got mates that don't even smoke, but as soon as they got a beer in there, they want a fag. But when I get on here and start talking about with Spurs, I need to smoke. It calms me down. Right, let me roll down a couple more. Strasbourg Steve. Yeah, first 10, 15 minutes, it was mostly Spurs, but Werner fluffed a chance in horrific fashion. Yeah, he did. I mean, if I remember right, he had about 3 early chances and just totally tits them up. 3, I think. 2, 3. Either way, he had a few chances that he really could have done something on. Right, David, morning, mate. We need better players. I'm starting to think Ange will not change no matter what. Of course, we need better players. And you're right in what you're saying. Ange is the one who stated he's not changing for nobody. Again, this is where there's a red flag. Ratisha, whatever, Ratish, again, forgive me for pronunciation. There's a reason why Chelsea let Werner go. He's becoming a liability in front of goal. There's no becoming, mate. He's already a liability, and you're right in what you're saying. That is why Chelsea let him go. That is why Leipzig have let him go, and he's only 15 million. Ben Foster, morning to you, mate. David, what you saying here, mate? We have a lot of average players who are very soft and no heart. It does seem that way, doesn't it? It is starting to look that way. Whereas at the start, I was even saying we seem to have got a few players in there with a winning mentality that really want to give it their all. I think with a few of them, it just seems like Richarlison is a perfect example here. He had a very good patch, his first good patch. Still don't rate the player. And then as soon as he misses a couple of shots, back to the floor again. Maybe that is the problem with a few of them. Maybe that is the problem with Basuma. We don't know what goes on in their head. And do you know what? Some of it I just don't want to know. Right. Raider, you big up. Dan, big up to you too, mate. Opal's good. Right. Alpesh, defending doesn't matter if we cannot play as a team in the transition to score in attack. For me, defence don't matter when you're sitting on the halfway line. Because you can't expect them to come running steaming back all the time. Without Van der Ven on there, who did cover us a few times yesterday, we are absolutely screwed. The fact that a defender goes missing and Ange's system falls to pieces says it all. We are not going to get another defender like Van der Ven. He's a freak. He's a freak of nature. And that is no insult to the man. The pace he can run at, he's meant to be, from what I've seen, the quickest player the Premiership has seen. And he's a defender. We are not going to get another defender that quick who can get back. We might get a fast one, but to cover this, you don't need to be fast. You need to be super fast. You need to be a freak. He might as well be in Marvel the way that man can run. And the problem is with him, my mate Tom, who started HotspurHood and gave the channel over to me because he had enough of talking Spurs, which I can understand why. Top fella. He told me after 2 games, watch out with Van der Ven. He's going to keep getting hamstring injuries until the point that it rips and he can't even walk. When you have to keep sprinting like that, not just running, but sprinting, the pull away, the quickness, you're going to do your hamstringing. Look what happened to Michael Owen. I still think without his pace, Van der Ven will be a good defender, but he won't be able to do what we need him to do. And he's going to get injuries doing it because he has to do it so much every bloody game. Same thing. Like I said, I think Van der Ven is now more important to us than Romero. Romero is quality. He's the strong man holding back a bit more, but he can't get back. Dragusin can't get back like that. Nobody can get back like that. Not even Son could get back that quick now. That is why Van der Ven is so important now. And he's a defender. Udoji is good. VDV is brilliant. Romero in low block is good. I'm not sure. Porro is a wing back. His defending has got significantly better, but it's still not great. He's not a defender. He's a wing back. Personally, where we just can't seem to cross that ball in there, because Johnson can't cross the ball regular, or he hasn't as yet. Porro is probably our best crosser of the ball. It was Perisic, but he's gone. I'd even give him a go as the right midfield, as the right winger. Same as I always said about Trent Alexander-Arnold. The best he was always at Liverpool was crossing the ball, passing the ball, playmaking basically from the right back, right wing back. God, stick him as a right winger. He's got everything you need. Porro, he's like a little bulldog. He's got the pace. He's good on the ball. He can muscle it. He's got the balls to do it, and he's got a bloody good foot on him, passing and crossing. And my man, the other thing with Porro, he's not even doing the long balls over anymore to the far left. Is it because he's been told to, or is it because Werner's out there? And Werner actually gets in good places, but he doesn't get the ball to him half the time. If that was Son there, would he get more passes to him? I don't know. But Porro, I'd love to see him as a right winger. Right, Ben Foster. That was very Spursy yesterday. Mate, I'll just go to the next one. It was what it was, mate, wasn't it? It was. All right, Alpesh, we don't defend as a team. It's hard to defend as a team when your team is sitting on the halfway line. It's hard to defend full stop, let alone as a team. I don't like this pressing so high. Right, Potter Mac, big up, Dan. Big up to you too, mate. Hope your morning's good or afternoon. Right, David. Dan, question. Why are so many players' levels have dropped? Maddison and Basuma especially, and Werner needs to go. Werner, I just want to answer that question. Already been there, done that. Maddison, he's not performing either. But do you know what it looks like with Maddison? He's dropping back more. I feel this inverted stuff where they sort of try and get into a number 10 position. That's how it looks to me anyway. He sort of blocks it up there for him. But he seems to be coming back a lot deeper. That's not Maddison. Maddison was always up there, number 10, or even on the centre, go forward still as attacking midfielder, or even play on the left as a wide playmaker. I think he's been told to come back. That's how it looks to me. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but that is how it's looking to me. And if that is what Ange has told him to do, then he really needs to fix up. But we don't know. But Maddison, since that injury, has been a shadow of the player of what he was. And like we already said about Basuma, somebody just get him off the pitch. He shouldn't even be starting. Tom, Emerson is better defensively than Porro. Yeah. As a right back. Nothing more. He's not a wing back. He's a right back. As soon as he even looks at the halfway line, he gets scared. But as a defender, I feel he's better tackling than Porro. Porro is quicker, and Porro's tackling is not good. But he is very good at getting in front of the ball when it gets booted. He's very good at blocking shots. But Emerson being defensively better than Porro, where's that going to help us in the aspect of we need the right wing back? Because like I said, as soon as Emerson looks at the halfway line, my man gets scared. Right. Ray, should buy a right back in the summer and push Porro to the wing. Yep, that's where I'm behind on here, mate. You've said exactly what I think. That's exactly what I think. Adrian, it is the same old song with Tottenham. Also, like a channel, Dan. Thanks a lot. It's appreciated, and thanks for coming on, mate. I do appreciate people for their comments, and I do appreciate people coming on. It sort of makes it worthwhile doing it. Understand there's certain ones when the massive shows are on and everything else, you can barely get people on here, so they watch it after. But I do have a few regulars on here now, and it is very appreciated, and people who come on as well. I just like people's opinions. I don't have to agree with it, but on here, anyone can say what they want for their opinion. But it's the same old song with Spurs. It just never seems to change. We had two world-class managers, two of the best managers ever, possibly. And it still couldn't change. But that goes down to Levy. And that's all I'm going to say on that. I ain't going to go into no Levy crap today. I'll be on here till 3 o'clock. Ben, the players are not the issue. It's the culture at the club. Nah. Look, just because there's DNA and culture in the club, it doesn't mean that players cannot perform. Levy, and you've made me say his name now, again, which I just said I wasn't going to do. You can't blame Levy for yesterday. He don't tell the manager what team to pick. I don't know. You might tell him to always put Son on there. Who knows? But that was nothing to do with Levy yesterday. That was nothing to do with the culture of the club. That was the players playing crap and Ange being a crap manager. That's what that was. That had nothing to do with culture for me. Yeah, we can always turn around and say it looks like it's culture because we all went all Spursy and everything and that. Yeah, it does look that way. But that was just Spursy, wasn't it? I mean, I think the word's even in the dictionary now. How embarrassing. But don't worry, it'll only get better. Don't worry, the manager will get it together. I've heard this for 24 years. Our bench is totally hopeless, Spurs fan. You know what? It's really not. We have got all right players we can bring on there. It's just they're not performing. Say we start with Sarr, Bentancur and Maddison. Bringing on a player like we know how good Basuma can be, that's a bloody good sub. Kulusevski, how good he can be, that's a good sub. Or Johnson. I mean, for me, I think everyone knows my point on Kulusevski. He shouldn't even be played on the right anyway. But I will go on it again. Why do you put a left-footed man to get deep to cross the bloody ball from the right-hand side? He has to step in every time. And the defender already knows it and he steps to the right. Kulusevski at Sweden plays attacking midfield central. Even he can play up front as a striker with another player next to him and play as the target man. He can play with his back to goal. He's got the muscle. But I don't feel we play him in our best way, in his best position. Similar to Basuma. But Kulusevski, he's just gone to crap as well. I mean, when he came on yesterday, he was at fault basically for that fourth goal where he just totally lost his man. Again, I think his confidence is shot. Right, Ratish. Since 2016, it's the third time Spurs lost away by Newcastle by 4 goals and more. Yeah, that's why I think a few people were nervous about it yesterday. It's true, mate. David, we need to say let me start again. We need Nico Williams or Benefar for our striker position. No, the one I've said I want as our striker, I said this about 2-3 months ago, is Izik, and he proved why yesterday. And another one I'd love to get is Eze from Palace, and I feel we could get him and do a little swap. Offer him a player like Skip. Now, I know Skip's not good enough for us, but he could get us 5 million off the price, maybe. And Ben, Ange is a dead man walking. He does seem that way on the side of the pitch, doesn't he? But like what was said on here, like Nick said, like others have said, this season is chance, but we will judge him halfway or by the next season. Spurs fan, first time on here. Good channel, mate. Thank you. Appreciated. Ray, Conte had so much more passion. Yeah, he did. They're very similar, aren't they? It's just one says it how it is and the other says it nicely, so it sounds better. But they're both stubborn. They're both set in their way. Bring Conte back. I personally think Conte's style would work better with his team, but I don't want Conte back because literally every job he's been in, whether it's Inter Milan, Chelsea, Spurs, and others he's done, within 2 seasons, he just totally sets the club on fire anyway. That's done and dusted. I don't want him back. The difference between Alpesh, the difference between both managers in their box was telling. It was, wasn't it? You could blatantly see that one was game and the other was just. He was there, barely. Physically, yeah. Mentally, I don't know where Ange was. He probably doesn't even know himself. England forever. Spurs and Man U are in a similar situation. Yeah, but Man U got a much better history. They have players that have been there for a while and that need gone before any manager. Yeah, we're slowly getting our act together on players we're getting rid of. It took Arsenal time. It's going to take Man U time. You ain't just going to get rid of them just like that. but it is slowly getting the players out. Ben, but all we know, but we all know what happened to Conte when he spoke the truth. Exactly. And why? Because he said it how he saw it. In that aspect, you got to respect the man. He said what I'd say 8 out of 10 Spurs fans have been thinking for a very long time. So credit where he is due. He spoke his mind. Spurs fan. He should know what 11 he has to put onto the combat team. I still think he's a bit. He doesn't quite know what his best 11 is, and I can't necessarily blame him on that bit because for 5 games someone would be quality, and then all of a sudden they fall to pieces again. He knew his team at the start of the season, but then the injuries happened. Then the players come back, and it all went tits up. I honestly don't think the only things he knows is his goalkeeper and his back 4. The rest of it, I don't think he knows who to start where because of what sort of game they're going to have. If anything in midfield, the only one that starts straight away for me is Sarr because he's been the most consistent. And up front, it's got to be Son, hasn't it? But then who do you stick on the left? Who do you stick on the right? Who do you stick as the other 2 in midfield? I can understand that my man's probably a bit lost. I can understand it. But he can still make changes during the game. All right, Kirtan, what are you saying here, mate? But just trust the process. Innit? Who knows? The process might work, mate. But then I do the lottery twice a week, the Euro lotteries, and I still only ever win about £4. There's always hope, mate. There's always hope. But at Spurs, when you go by history, you know what? With Spurs history and that, if I'm going to be honest, it could be the last game of the season. We could be 3 points clear with a goal difference of 20. I'd still be looking over my shoulder scared. And that's just down to Spurs history. Call it negative. I'm just being realistic. The sad thing is, to be realistic about Spurs, you got to be more negative than positive. Facts say that because of the history. They are facts why a lot of people come across negative. Yeah, you can be too negative. But wow, can you be too positive? 10 games, we're going to win that league. Yeah. 10 games later, it looked good at the start. But how lucky was we in a couple of those games? We was very lucky a few teams couldn't finish, but we looked all right because no one really knew what to expect from Spurs, did they? But those injuries definitely done us with Chelsea. I think we could have got a bit further, but those injuries screwed us. That Chelsea game absolutely tore us. England forever. You're allowed to be critical of the manager without wanting him out. Exactly. You just pick out a point where he didn't do it right. That's all it is. It doesn't mean you want the manager out. Anyone saying Ange out at the moment, no, I can't agree with it. But if that's their opinion, fair play. But it's not Ange out at the moment. But if there's a problem, you need to fix that problem. But if you don't see the problem, or you ignore the problem, then there's no problem. So the problem don't get sorted out. You have to pick on the points. I'll repeat another thing I've said 100 times. Alex Ferguson. He could have gone 37 games unbeaten with Man U. And then that last game, they're totally clear and they lose 3-0. He would have gone off his head. Why? Because he's an out-and-out winner. That is why. You need to pick out the points when it goes wrong. And then when it picks good, you need to say it as well. It's like a lot of the players. They can't handle the stick they get when they go tits up. But they want all the praise in the world, all the sugar blown up and all the sunshine for when they do good. And they do. But then you got to handle the other side when you screw it up as well, like yesterday. Right. Some of the fans have egg on their face for being overconfident about yesterday's game. How many times have we done it, mate? Yeah, we was going to tear Fulham a new one as well, wasn't it? How embarrassing was that? And Ben, everyone was saying they would they would thrash the tune. So arrogant, Spurs fans. It's true, mate. Again, I'll go with you there on that. Spurs fan, you need 4 defenders with mega pace to play this high line. Yeah, and even with that, mate, you're still going to concede goals. Stick the best defence the world has ever seen up there. You are still going to concede goals because you're so far pressed forward that when you've got a fast team in front of you on the wing, it's going to come over. They're going to score nearly every game. 2 clean sheets in 25 games. You do not win leagues like that. And that's what Ange says he wants to do. No, I don't believe we can win a league. I can't see us ever winning a league. But to even get close to it, you can't concede 40, 50, 60 goals a season. Maybe this will change next season. But Ange said he ain't willing to change. 164 Spur. Good morning, people. Good morning to you too. Nearly afternoon now. Just like someone else said, Ange is a dead man walking. Where are the tactics yesterday? Exactly, mate. England forever, 17 goals, I think. I presume that was with the Chelsea one. That just shows how far behind I am. So I'm going to jump a few. So I do apologise so I can get more up with it. Cough. Definitely caught something off my little brother-in-law there. He's had a cough all week. Conceding goals from corners only stopped under 2 managers, Redknapp and Poch. And Conte had us doing all right on that one as well because he had his set-piece man in the back to show us how to do set pieces. And he was doing a good job. And what did we do? Sack the man. Starts to show, doesn't it? Ben Foster conceding from the corners is Spurs DNA. Yeah, just lately it is, mate. Is Ryan Mason still in charge of set-piece training by any chance? As far as I know, he is. I might be wrong, but as far as I know, he is. And do you know what scares me? By the look of it, they're trying to train him to become Spurs' new manager. That's how it's looking. Ryan Mason. Really? That's going to be a worse call than Frank Lampard at bloody Chelsea. Let's just hope I'm wrong there. All right. Daniela, if I've said your name right, mate. Apparently, Sheffield United want Ashley Phillips on loan next season. Why not? If he's not quite good enough for the team, if someone's not quite good enough for the team as a younger player or even slightly older, loan them out. There's no point on just sitting there doing nothing. You need a young player to play football. And Ashley Phillips looks pretty good from what I've seen. I haven't seen much of him, but from what I've seen, he looks pretty good. So, yeah, stick him out on loan. Going to play devil's advocate on Ange, not changing tactics in his way of showing he needs new players to play this system. If the fans turn on Ange, Levy wins. No, I agree with what you're saying, but Levy don't win if the players turn on Ange. Levy don't win because then he's got all the stick on him again. So I don't think he wants this to happen. Levy does not want us to lose. He wants us to get top 4. He wants us to get money in. I presume he doesn't want the pressure and the crap that he's going to get, excessive crap, if the manager gets sacked again. So I don't think Levy wins on that one, yeah? But it's back to square one again, isn't it? But can you really blame some fans for being sceptical at the moment? But fans being Ange out at the moment, that's too much. Spurs fan, usually only go on Tottenham away and Stel is on it. And good channel, mate. Thanks a lot. I go on Stel show quite a lot as well. Possible I'll be on there tonight with him if he sends me the link. And that's going to be an interesting one tonight on Stel's at 9 o'clock on Tottenham away. So I think a few people should be watching that because I think that's going to be a very interesting one to watch. Because I think you're going to see a few people in there who've got a few things to say. And I don't think it's going to be pretty. Right. The Ryan Mason is a huge problem being kept at Spurs. It does look that way, doesn't it? And again, if I said if he's getting done to be our new manager, then where are we meant to be going? Spurs GCTV, morning Dan, morning to you too, nearly afternoon, mate. Until we give a manager at least 2 full seasons and the players they need, we will continually have this argument, regardless of the defensive attacking styles. Very poor yesterday. Mate, I make you right there, yeah? I do make you right. You got to give a manager a season 2 2 seasons to get his crap together. The only reason I'm only giving Ange 6 months next season is if he doesn't change some of his tactics and the same things are happening. Then what's another 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons going to do? We are not going to get the world-class players, the quality players that can play this game in, game out. And even with some of the best players on the planet, this style, you're still going to concede goals. It's the Premier League. It's not Scotland. It's not Australia. It's not Japan. It's no insult to them, but it's a fact. This is the best league in the world now for a reason. England forever. Fans are fickle. First they say they want Ange back. Now they want Ange out. People got to make up their minds what they want. No, it's only a couple saying Ange out. And I think that was just more because people were, what's the better way to say it? How did my mother used to say it? Cheesed off, I think is the nice word I use from yesterday. But there are a couple that genuinely want Ange out. I don't. But as I say, next season, he's got 6 months with me. He needs to adapt. I know it keeps repeating, but it just is what it is. Spurs fan, look how much points we have. When the players can be asked, getting back, we're screwed. He's got us in a good place. Yes, he has. But again, some of those games we should not have lost. Not at all. It was down to his tactics and yes, screws up by the players. As Spur, if people say he doesn't have the player he needs, then he should do what other managers in season 1 normally do and adapt. We said this yesterday, didn't we? He seems to want to do some predictable street system style, and we're too open. Yeah, the way I look on it, a good manager, yes, he wants to get his way into the team. I totally get that, yeah. But when you haven't got the players to play that way, I mean, what is it they say? Trying to get circles in squares or squares in circles, whatever. You have to adapt to what you have got to make it better. And Ange don't seem to do that. Conte didn't do it, and he got grilled for it. But it's all right with Ange. Strange. But I suppose that's just Spurs for you. Going to have to scroll down a couple more here because I'm well behind and I haven't even got to play this yet. All right, what are we saying here? I'll go with Bill. There you go, Bill. Any Muppet sitting xenophobia as the reason for critic of Ange needs to grow up and evaluate their life. Mate, if you disagree with anything these days, you're phobic or you're ist or whatever, this and that. Do you know what? That's why I don't care. Call me what you bloody want. I couldn't care less. I'm allowed my opinion. Doesn't mean it's right, but you're allowed your opinion. And so what? Just because we think Ange ain't doing well and a few of us don't agree with it, all of a sudden we're Australian phobic or something. But that's what people use as excuses. That's what people throw at you when they got nothing to answer it with. When they can't answer your opinion or the fact you've put down. You're phobic. No, you're just against him because he's Australian. No, you're saying Arsenal can't win the league just because it's Arsenal or whatever else. No, it's not always like that. Not at all. You get the odd person it is, but in general, it's really not. All right, beyond 72. We don't cut corners when it comes to concerts, etc. No, we don't. But happily do it for one thing. We're meant to be a football club. Meant to be. We're not. We're a business. We are one of the top 6 businesses in the football world. We are not in the top 10 teams of the football world. We are only there purely because of money. If you want to go by proper history and everything, Spurs are not winners out and out. When it comes to league titles and that, no, we have always been a cup club, but we're not even that anymore. How are we even getting to that top 10? I haven't got a clue. What I have is down to money, and that's all it is. Nothing more, nothing less. LTL Cockerell, morning to you, mate. Hope all's good. Hope your channel's doing well. Everyone like and subscribe to his as well. He makes some good points on there with the people he has on there and does some good shows. Morning, Dan. Hope all's all good for you, pal. It is, apart from talking about Spurs and yesterday. All right, Elias. Højbjerg is better than Basuma. I have learned that late too. It does seem that it's best off putting in that position, doesn't it? It really does seem that way. Tony Rodriguez, member, how you doing, mate? And one thing I will say about you, fella, when you come on here, when you put your messages on here, you say it how it is. And again, some people don't like it. They can't handle it. Well, that's their problem. Pep and Klopp also play with a high line, but they don't play like high line with Spurs, do they? But they do it with intelligence. It doesn't matter if Ange gets the players he wants, because his way won't work in the Premier League in the long run. He must adapt. Same thing a lot of people are saying, mate, isn't it? And I totally agree with, I'll say 95% of stuff I see you put on here, mate. It is true. And some people just can't handle the truth. Truth hurts. And as a Spurs supporter, we should all know that truth bloody hurts. Right. And Elias just saying he agrees. JTB, what you're saying here? 100% agree with you. Hodge needs to support from the other mids. He's played badly for us and other midfields go missing. Hodge is always class for Denmark. He does play well. And Denmark, he seems to play more of a box-to-box. He gets forward a bit as well. No, I don't agree with Højbjerg being our out-and-out DM all the time. But at the moment, yes, he's our best option, I think, if you want that anchor man there. But we need better. Give me that Paulina, if that's how you say his name, off of Fulham. I'll snatch him up all day long. Lakota at Juventus, Pellegrini at Roma. There's plenty out there we could go for. Right, Irish Hotspur, nice to see you on here, mate. I watch your show often as well. And if people haven't subscribed, which I presume a lot have, because he's got a big channel on that, do it, because the man speaks sense as well. Dan, do you think changing manager is the right direction to move forward? No, I don't. Not right now. Not right now, I don't. That is what I've said earlier. I don't agree with people saying Ange out right now. That is going OTT. But halfway through next season, if he hasn't adapted and he is not willing to change certain little points, he's going to stay like it the whole time. And we are not going to get the quality of players that could hold this for, let's say, 80% of the games. So it's sort of like one of them ones, you're screwed if you do and you're screwed if you don't, really, isn't it, mate? That's how I see that one. But Ange out now, no. Give him till the end of next season. But like I say, with me, he's got 6 months, and I just want to see him make effort to make little changes, little adapts for certain teams. I know we can't go by what Dyer says, yeah? But Dyer said in the interview that whenever he done training with Ange, as all they train on is his style of play. Now, I get that's the main way they need to train, because they need to adapt to his style of play. But when you've got the time that Spurs have got, one game a bloody week, one game, they've got plenty of time to also say, right, we're playing Aston Villa next. We're playing Arsenal next. We're playing Man U. Whoever we are playing, right, they play better with that way. They play better with that way. They rely on a long ball there. They rely on their fast man there. Right, I want you to counter that one a bit more. I want you to sit back a bit more. Maddison, get more forward, because they always pull forward. Son, get past him. You can put a through. But adapt to the team you're playing. Work out the little points on the team you are playing. That is what a good manager does. Every team does it against us, but it's easy. I think any one of us could go on here and say, right, we're playing Spurs. This is how you play. And it's only one way. They don't even have to work things out. As all they have to do is maybe say, watch out for Porro with a long ball. Watch out for Son, he's quick. Maddison can just appear and disappear. And if you get that long ball over, you better run fast, because Van der Ven can run fast. But keep going for the long balls down the flanks, because they are always open. But Irish Hotspur, it's not the way to move forward getting rid of Ange now. Not at all. I'm all for Ange doing good. But please, mate, please, just try something a little bit different. A few more tweaks. So getting rid of him now is not the way to go forward. Not at all. Right, Ben Foster. At least the club made a recent video of Basuma driving around in a luxury Land Rover. Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? I mean, they do making weird videos, don't they? And Daryl Denton, good to see you on here, mate, as a member. See you on here quite a lot. Do like a lot of opinions you put on here and other ones. Can't say I agree with all of them, but a majority of them, you do make some solid points. We don't even do the basics of football. Don't need a manager. Don't need to be a manager for that. It's true. For me, it doesn't make a good manager to work out that yesterday we was pushing so high, we was getting caught out on it all the time. And I'm repeating myself again. But after that first goal, when we'd had about 1, 2, 3 or 4 warnings, it was obvious what was going to keep coming. Right, boys, we've conceded. Sit back, defend a bit, go a little bit counter. Right, give it 10, 15 minutes, go all out again. Nope, he doesn't do it. Spurs GCT TV at Irish Hotspur. What are you saying here, mate? Firstly, morning. Secondly, no. If we keep changing managers every 3 quarters of the season, we never get it off the merry-go-round. That's basically what I said as well, mate. I make you 100% right. It's not the way to go forward, getting rid of him now. But when you see things keep happening, the same things, I can understand the frustration on people as well. But no, not now. Not yet. Tony, just because you comment and criticise coaches and players does not mean you want to sell or sack them. Exactly, mate. Exactly. It's just some people can't handle opinions. They really can't if it's different to theirs. I think that's just the world we live in now, mate. Not just football, but I think that's just the world we live in. I think woke is an understatement, and that's not even a word I like using. All right, Elias, changing manager isn't the right direction. No, we've already said that. Irish Hotspur, what are you saying here? Hello, Spurs GCTV. How you doing, mate? And that is where I am with it, mate. I think we need to give him a lot of time. Yeah, he does need time, but he needs to also make changes. Elias, Dan, where is your snake nowadays? She's in the tank at the moment. Fed her last week, so next show I come on, Mystique will be out here with me. And Bailey B, what you saying here, mate? Dan, do you think Ange will change it versus Arsenal? If we continue like this, 3-0 down by half time, massive game, we can not lose. Well, I've said it all already. He's not going to change his way for this one. He's not going to do it. And after that spanking by Newcastle, we are going to go into that Arsenal game scared. I am scared. I think everyone here is scared, or a majority. It just don't look like it's going to be pretty, does it? It really don't, if we're being realistic. But I suppose there's always hope. That's why we do the lottery, isn't it? And right, just scrolling down to catch up on a couple before I go to what I actually wanted to talk about. Spurs GCTV, point of context. Do you know what, mate? I don't like that word, context. I know what it means and I know we got to do it and that, but I hear it so much it does my head in. But there is context to everything, or there should be, except Spurs sitting on the halfway line. Point of context. Only 5 of the start of the 11 were signed under this manager. Once he has a squad of his choice, things may be different. If no different, agree, fans will not be happy. That's why we got to give him to at least the summer of next season. Phil Coyes, need at least give Ange the summer. Yes, we do. Does Kulu article sum it up? Lose 4-1, but win at life. Mate, I ain't even going to answer it. I ain't even going to answer that one. What concerned me yesterday was we had our strongest defence out and still let in 4 goals. Exactly. It's the style of play. It's the system. It is the system. And Elias saying, big up Tommy. Well, Tom, are you on here, mate? Have I missed something of yours? Well, I'll scroll quite through. I'm just scrolling up to see if Tommy was on here. I don't know, mate. If I've missed you, bruv, then I'm extremely sorry. But I've had to catch up because I'm an hour behind and I'm just not as good as other people at this because I'm still quite fresh at this one. I will get better. Right. And what I'm going to go to here is JJ. Yeah, losing his footing was unlucky there. I know what one you're on about there. And Spurs fan, why does Johnson not lift his head before crossing? Now, you know what? With a striker, when he doesn't lift his head, it doesn't really matter when the striker is good because, like Kane, like Haaland, like other great players, there's always been, like, let's say, Crespo, Ashley Cole, Batistuta, Thierry Henry, Alan Shearer, Lineker. The list goes on and on and on. A striker knows where his goal is. And a striker that can score with not lifting their head up, he blatantly knows what he's doing. Giggs, brilliant crosser of the ball back in the day and everything. Makes myself sound pretty old there. Would he lift his head up to look? Maybe he'd have a glance, but bang, cross it in there. He knew somebody would be in there. When you're playing a game and you know your team, you know your teammates, half the time you don't. And when I've played football when I was younger, there were certain mates that I played with that just couldn't get on with, and there was other mates that we did not get on off the pitch and didn't even talk. But on the pitch, we worked well together because I knew how he played football. He knew how I played football. I didn't even need to lift my head sometimes because I knew exactly where my mate would be 8 times out of 10. And that is how a good team works. You got to know your team. You got to know where that other one will be. Johnson not lifting his head, maybe it's just hope. But when he boots it over to the side and that, the thing I'm sure he does know is that Werner's going to be there, and there's a high chance that even though we're 3 yards out, he's going to manage to kick it up in the he's going to be able to kick it up in the air, which is 10 times harder to bloody do than scoring. That is why Werner is a no-go. Paul Abraham. It is not possible for all players to be crap. It's on Ange. Playing a system that exposes your players all the time, even with better players, even if you don't learn to tweak things, it will be the same. Now, I agree with most of what you've said there, mate, but it is also possible for all players to be crap. Look at yesterday. Look at Fulham. Look at other games. Wolves. Even against Sheffield, it was crap, but we managed to pull it off in the last minute. So it is possible for all players to be crap, like yesterday, but it is down to the system as well. So I think that's a bit of both on that one, mate. Right, Phil2109, you're always on here, mate. Much appreciated. Love a few of the points you make. You don't hold back. Big up, Danny. Big up to you too. Udogie going forward is decent, but defensively suspect. Yep, that's what I said earlier. I have seen a few wayward passes in which comes put past our defence in trouble. You know what? Udogie has been bloody good all season. I said at the start of the season, because I only know a few things like about Udogie. I'd heard of Dragusin and watched him play once and told everyone, don't worry about Vicario. He's a quality keeper. Because I follow Serie A. Not everybody follows different leagues. People could tell me stuff about the Spanish league and I wouldn't have a clue because I've never really followed it. It's never really done nothing for me. But Udogie, he was brilliant out there. And I said that when he comes here, if he plays that way, if he ain't the best left back in the Premiership, which at the moment he's not, he's going to be one of the most wanted or one of the most up and coming. But these past 5 games for him have been terrible. And 4 out of those 5 games, he's made the same issue every time. Of when it goes past him, he gets lazy. And he doesn't run after the ball. He jogs after the ball. Yes, Basuma, the DM, should be covering, but sprint after your man. Put pressure on him. Past 4 games, he hasn't done it. Is he tired? Don't give me that. 1 game a week. My man should not be tired. Is he getting lazy? Is he getting complacent? I think a few of those players are getting complacent because Udogie knows Ben Davies ain't going to take his place unless he's injured. Porro, lazy? No, he don't get lazy. He gives it his all every game. No, he might not be great every game, but he gives it his all every game. But he also knows his place ain't getting taken. So does Romero. So does Van der Ven. And them two don't get lazy. Midfield, no, there's only one other player behind their back looking at it. But, yeah, maybe some of them are getting lazy. Udogie, definitely. Definitely getting lazy on that pitch. Because there's no one on there who can suss his place. Nobody. Daryl. Ange in the summer needs new backup staff first before signings. Well, as far as I know, it's him who says what backup he wants. if I remember right, someone called me on this one. Someone said something about that he doesn't bring his staff with him. Okay, so he wants new staff. If that's the way he does it, so be it. Whereas a lot of other managers, they bring certain members of their staff with them and maybe will replace a couple. But as far as I know with Ange, if it was right, what I remember, he likes a new setup every time of staff. Maybe, well, we definitely need someone who can suss out the set pieces better, don't we? I mean, that one goes without saying. I mean, Dale Denton, the Aussie Mason needs to go. He should not be in there. And it does scare me that we might be setting him up for a future manager. Again, like I say, they all need competition. I'd love Eze and Paulinho at Spurs. Yep. And there's two I think we could get hold of. And the other one I would like, again, you're going to have to forgive me for pronouncing it. Two who I think we could get. It's going to cost us about 120 mil. Eze, because he can play central, but mainly play on the right. And that other one they've got at Palace, Olison, I can't pronounce his name right. I think he's very good as well. And I think he would look better at a bigger club as such. I mean, Palace, they haven't got the same sort of players we have. Yes, we know all ours have gone tits up, but we still have a better team. And we at least have one playmaker there when he shows up. And Maddison hasn't been showing up, has he? Tony, I'm absolutely convinced that coaching defence is not the set priority first. It's not. It's obviously not. And again, if we go by what Eric Dyer said, and you know what, no matter how much anyone dislikes Eric Dyer, I don't see why he'd go and say that on there for no reason. I don't see why he would give the interview and just say that for the fun of it. Was it a dig? I don't know. But I can't see why he'd say it for the fun of it. And he blatantly did say that as all they practice is Ange ball. Ben Foster, Maddison is becoming too comfy at Spurs already. This is what I'm saying. Maybe he's another one who's getting lazy. But I think it's also got something to do with how the manager, who I personally, his opinion, has told him to come back more. You are not going to get the most out of Maddison as a centre mid. You're going to get the most out of Maddison as an attacking playmaker up front, as a number 10, old school number 10, whatever you want to bloody call it. I mean, some of the numbers get on my nerves as well these days. But you need him up there because he's the only one who puts in that ball. And do you know what? Another thing has just gone on my mind. I'm winding myself up now. Why is it we take more chances in front of our own bloody goal with a passing than we do up the other end? Up the other end, tip, tap, just wait for that chance. You'd be waiting all bloody day, mate, because there's 8 of their players sitting in the box. But in front of our own goal, they pass it back to Vicario, who's got a player coming at him from the left, player looking at him from the right, player directly in front of him, and he can barely get the balls out wide because the other wingers are covering it as well. Or we'll pass it directly across him or directly across the box. In front of our own box, we seem to be willing to take a 50-50 chance, even 30-70 chance that it's going to work. Whereas up front, we won't take a chance unless there's what? These are all just rounding off numbers for me. But we won't take a pass up the other end unless there's a 75% chance it goes. Why take more chances in front of your own goal than the goal up front? That's got to be Ange telling them to do that. It's got to be. Surely these players are not that thick that they do it game in, game out. People say it's the way players are playing and that, but they're only doing what the manager tells them to do. Like sit up on the halfway line. But why cross the ball, pass the ball directly across? Why? Now, if they're all up the other end of the pitch, their team, which they never are, I get it. But why put so much pressure on our own goal? To me, this don't make sense. But then I'm not a manager, so what would I know? Phil 2109. Even if Werner was played through, he would still miss. I hope no one on the Time Bridge was hit when Werner chanced yesterday. Yes, mate, you're 100% right. Right, I'm just scrolling through this. Spurs fan, Dan, it was their second string. How must we be bouncing after that result? I don't think no one is bouncing, mate. Seriously. But I think a few people are definitely getting worried here. Right. Phil, Big Dan, every manager sounds like the same after a while. Conte wasn't a magician either. Neither is Ange. Pochettino wanted washing machines and received a tumble dryer. At least Conte said it blatantly how he sees it. Ryan, Dan, great chat, buddy. Got to do a few things, so I'm out of here. Take care. Take care to you, mate. Have a good day. It's just some of the stuff we've it's so frustrating being a Spurs supporters. I mean, Ben, I like what you've said here. We are winners, Dan. We are winning at life, remember? Of course we are, mate. That's all that matters at the end of the day, isn't it? JTB, leave his twerky for an investor for one thing only, to help 355 million for the skyscraper. Mate, it wouldn't surprise me. It just really wouldn't. So, right, I've had to scroll right down here. So I'm on the bottom now. I'll read out the last one down here. So I'm sorry, everyone who have had to skip, but I've read out as many as I can. So, Dante, the Spurs midfield three should be structured like that in Juventus of 95. Good call, mate. Team, a solid defensive midfielder, 6 in the box, 2 box to box, 8 and 10 supply the bullets for the forward fire. I agree. I don't even like us playing with wingers at the moment. So, right, what I'm going to go to here quickly, and I will keep this one pretty quick. I mean, I have to write my things down because certain things just go off your head. Possession yesterday, 36% Newcastle. And they was at home. Spurs, 64%. People keep saying, but we've got the possession. It's obvious in how many games possession don't win you games. It can help. It can get you somewhere. But again, when you've got the ball and it says we've done 800 passes, 600 passes, 10,000 passes, 8 out of 10 of them are 6 foot to the fella next to them. Looks good, doesn't it? On the stats. Yeah, I'll just keep it quiet for a moment. Wake up, some people. Stats lie. So do pictures. It's possession don't win. You can have 90% possession. They have 10%. They get that through ball or over ball and score the goal. What does possession matter? Shots on target. Shots. 2 on target. 5 off target for Spurs. Newcastle, 5 on target, 8 off target, 5 on target, and 4 went in the bloody net. And if I remember, 2 of our shots that was on target was outside the box. Corners. Spurs. Tottenham Hotspur. 3. 3 corners. 3. Newcastle, 16. But it doesn't matter. We had 64% possession. 16 corners on one of our weakest bits. Set pieces. I mean, they had a free kick from, what was it? 35 yards out? And even that nearly went in the back of the net. 16 corners. But it doesn't matter. We had 64%. There's not much else I can say about the game, to be real. There really isn't. Something needs to change. Again, we might be in 4th or 5th place. We might get Champions League. Another point I'll go to here, yeah?
Brian, I'm 100% with you, mate. I don't want Champions League. I don't. Because if we go and get Champions League, okay, we might get more money. We might get some good players. It could have its up point. But if we play like this in the Champions League against Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Juventus, Inter Milan, Porto, or even some of the smaller teams, we are going to get... Can you imagine playing this way with this high press against Real Madrid when you've got Junior coming down the side? You're a dead man walking. I don't want Champions League. I want Europa Cup, and I want it to be taken seriously. Because one advantage with the Europa Cup this year is whoever's gets knocked out of the Champions League, they're out. So that can give us a chance there if we take the cup serious. But we didn't even take the cup serious this day. I know we can't keep going back to the same thing, but that was one of the first things Ange done, which for me was one of the most stupid things I have ever seen a manager do in football. Maybe he just wanted to see some other players play, but 9 changes against the Premier League team. We obviously didn't take that cup serious. Maybe Levy's told him not to take the cup serious. I don't know. Who knows? But I'd rather we do Europa League, where we're going to be playing some of the smaller leagues out there, smaller clubs. We can then give some of our younger players a go, I think. Because I don't think you're going to see none of them starting. I reckon that Divine might make the squad, but I don't think you're going to see none of them starting. I think Europa League would be better for us because we wouldn't just be a number in it. And I don't think we'd get so embarrassed in it. Yeah, there's still going to be teams out there that will be able to tear us one. But we go in that Champions League and play like this, people. We are going to get embarrassed. I've had enough of just being a number as a football team. I love it when we've played Champions League. Do you know what? Take me 5 years back. Yeah, 5 years back. I was one of the ones who debate with everyone with football down the pub. You know, as you do with mates, having a beer, everything else and all that. Yeah, but Dan, you lot ain't won the League Cup or the FA Cup. I don't care about the League Cup, Mickey Mouse Cup. Who gives a toss? FA Cup, yeah, I'd like to win it, but we're getting in the Champions League. Yeah, I was one of those idiots. And then all of a sudden it hit me. Okay, we got to a Champions League final. Brilliant. You can't fault that, but we still didn't win nothing under Poch. And we still ain't won nothing. And then all of a sudden it just sort of like click. What does it matter? We're a number. I wouldn't have cared if Ange would have finished 10th this year, 12th. If we won that League Cup, just get us a bit of flipping silverware. Somebody. And that is why people do not take Tottenham serious. That is why I struggle to take this football team business serious. Until I see us take a cup seriously, whether it's the League Cup, FA Cup, we should be taking serious anyway. It doesn't seem like we do. Make 3 buys out of, say, 5. And 3 of them are blatantly there to either take the place or they are that good, level with a player in the place. Well, we need better than what we got, but I'm just making an example here. Like at Man City or even Liverpool or even Arsenal, where that if that player screws up, he looks over his shoulder and he knows, I'm out. And the manager goes, right, you went tits up in that game. Weren't your worst game, but you definitely weren't 100%. Out. Baked potato, mate. See you later. Let's see how our next man does, who we know is just as good as that, so you can use it on the subs as well, who will blatantly just walk in and take his place. The competition, the pressure. Alex, Mr. Box Office. top man. A lot of people don't show you enough credit that you deserve. The reason I say that is because you've got me believing this way as well. That word backup, it now gets on my nerves as well. And that's thanks to you. Every team of 25 needs some backup. There's always going to be backup players there, even at Man City, whatever. But we need players there to give competition. We need players that can come on that pitch and be as good as that person there. Or maybe a little bit worse. Just a little bit. But can give them competition for that place. Not the massive drop that we've got in nearly every position. About the only one we haven't got the massive drop in is centre mid. But they're all playing crap at the minute anyway. So 3 players that are going to walk into that first team. I can't take Spurs serious. Until I see us take that FA Cup and League Cup serious, I can't take Tottenham serious. Again, call me negative. I'm just being realistic. It's my opinion. I'm entitled to it, same as everybody else. So I'll go through a couple more of the chats. If anyone disagrees with me on the league thing and the Champions League thing, I'd like to know. Because everyone, again, some people prefer the Champions League. Don't make you less of a person. It don't make you less of a supporter. Same as another thing that gets on my nerves is when people say, well, I go to games. You're just an armchair supporter. So, I still support my club. I still watch them. I still buy silly little things. I won't buy a Spurs shirt for a long time. I know that they're too bloody expensive. I usually buy last season's shirt. But some people prefer just getting in the Champions League. We know Levy does because of the money it brings in. But I don't care about Champions League anymore. Yes, I want to be in it, but I don't care. I just want to win a bloody cup. Win something. Because we ain't winning that flipping league. Right, Ben Foster. Dan, it's like having a pointless until you know what to do with it. Well, yeah. It's true. If you don't know how to use it, she's going to walk away. It's like with other players. We've got about 2 years with Van der Ven. 2 years. Maybe the same with Doji. And if we don't watch out, Romero and possibly even Porro. Because if we don't at least start competing, getting close to these things, they're going to be sitting here thinking, I mean, I don't get how defenders can like this style of play personally. Rest of the team, yes, attacking football, great, everything. But defenders, they must pull their hair out doing this. But same Spurs, win nothing. But 95% of players go somewhere, they win something. Next thing you know, Real Madrid come in. Now, people say Real Madrid ain't great on the money. They are run by the country, for God's sake. If Real Madrid want, they get. And they say, Van der Ven, who I think would suit them down to a T, we want you. Spurs, there's the money we're offering. Yeah, they got 6 years contract, but we don't know about buyout clauses or nothing else. So, Levy says, no, not selling. Not everyone's as weak as Harry Kane mentally. Harry Kane, when it comes to that Man City, should have stood there and said, do you know what? I ain't playing no more. I ain't doing it. Yes, we don't like it when a player does that, but as soon as he does that, that's 20% of his value gone. And then Levy's like, oh dear, what do we do? Next thing you know, 2 games, he's still refusing to come on. Got to sell the man. He's got to go. It's starting to be toxic. It's starting to, in the dressing room, his price is going to go down. They got to sell him. We don't know what Van der Ven, Doji, and all that are like mentally. But Real Madrid come looking for Van der Ven and offer the money, even if Levy don't want to accept it. If he refuses to play, he's gone. Doji, he's got Bayern Munich the way he plays written all over him for me. They love a good left back, left wing back. They love it. Some of the ones they've had there, epic. Porro, if he keeps improving, there's quite a few teams that take him up. If he keeps improving, his style can work with Barcelona. Romero, he's got a lot of clubs that are taking back on. In Italy, Inter would snatch him up. Juventus would get him back because it was them who actually owned him. AC Milan would want him. Napoli would want him. Not that Napoli could afford him. And I think other big teams in other countries would want him as well. And he's going to sit there and think, well, I've been here long enough now. We're still nowhere near winning a cup and we don't take it serious. So why do I want to stay here? Same story with Spurs, isn't it? Same thing out and out. So I'm going to read a couple of these and then I've got to go. Daryl Denton. They're trying to win the big ones without building the proper squad. Madness. Do we even try and win the big ones, mate? That's just it. I mean, what big ones? We don't even try with the FA Cup, if that's what you're on about. Champions League, we can try all we want. Look, whether people want to admit this or not, getting in that Champions League final was brilliant. But it was a fluke. We was lucky. Very lucky. Yes, the pressure we put on Ajax and everything, we deserved it at the end, but God, did we have some luck. You need luck. And for luck, you need chances. And for chances, you need to make chances. When we're not even making chances because we're playing so much tip-tap up the front, where's the luck going to come from? Where the chances going to come from? But Champions League, mate, no, I'm just for the Europa on this one. England forever. Miss out on the Champions League and go all out for a lesser European trophy. I don't care if it's lesser, mate. League Cup's lesser than the FA Cup. We don't win nothing. You know what? Go in the Conference Cup or whatever it's called and go win that like West Ham did. Even West Ham can blag us out that they've won something and we ain't. I just want to win something. I just want to be a Spurs. And do you know what? We go win that League Cup, we're all going to be happy, but it's also going to be sickly for the fact that we're going to be dancing so hard that we've just won the League Cup. Even though I will be happy, and so will everyone. But it just shows how small this club and how accepting these fans have become. That we are over the moon. That we will have won a League Cup. Even Klopp, Mourinho, Pep, Fergie, Wenger. Let's go through other managers. They all took the League Cup serious. Mourinho, he always said it clear as day. I want that League Cup. We win that, it gets us rolling. And he's won everything. Everything. How anyone can even slate this man ever, I don't know. He even got us to the League Cup final and Levy sacked him. And if anyone can make a crap team or a worse team win a League Cup final or a final of any sort, Mourinho is the best there's ever been. Opinion. I would say fact, but fact. I'll go 99%. He's done it. He takes it serious. So if we're not going to take anything serious, like the small cups, which is all we stand a chance of doing, we're just going to be same old Spurs, happy with fourth place. Yes, we're in the Champions League. And now we've just got torn a new one. Great. And what have we got to show for it? Cobwebs. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, the spiders in there by now, probably Black Widow, and they'll probably bite you and kill you. I just had to take a deep breath to calm down a bit. I wind myself up too much sometimes when it comes to talking about Spurs. Ryan, try watching the under-21s like yesterday. They were shocking. Apart from a couple of forward players who were decent, the rest are miles off from playing in the Premiership. I can't really answer this one, mate, because I'll be totally honest with you. I have a look at the stats of what's gone on in the under-21s and that, and obviously you hear a lot of one or two players and that. But I can't say I followed the under-21s. So I've heard they're actually doing really good, but I can't give no facts or opinion on that. And I don't have a right to really have an opinion on that because I don't even watch them. I'd be a liar if I said otherwise. It would be like me sitting there preaching something about happening in the Spanish league that happens regular when I've only read it on stats and I don't actually watch it. Yes, I know I have a couple of players in Spain and a couple of things in that, but again, it's just a league that's never done it for me. I've always loved the Italian league, followed the German league as well, but I can't say I know anything about that, mate, so I can't really answer. Mark Cook, how you doing, mate? Opal's good. And I will send you a link soon so that you can come on the show soon, because what I am going to start doing is getting more regular shows. So hopefully start getting more of a fan base as such of people who want to come on the shows. I want people to come on my shows. I want people to come on and have their opinion. I want people to come on and disagree with me. I'm not going to sit on here and scream and shout at people or just tell them they ain't got a clue what they're talking about. Because I think when someone comes on and they've got an opinion. Now, for me, on life, on football, on anything, when you're having a debate, a talk, an argument, whatever you want to say it, there's two sides to it. You either understand it or you get it. Now, there's some things you'll never understand unless it happens to you. I ain't going to go into the details, but you still get it. There's other things that happen in life where you just don't even get it, let alone understand it. But when you're having a fair debate with someone and they're so set in their way that they don't even want to get your point, they ain't got to agree with you. They ain't got to make you right, but they don't even want to get your point because they're so ignorant to it. That's annoying. I want people to come on here and give their opinion. I will take your opinion serious. I don't have to agree with it. I don't even have to understand it. But I will do everything I can to at least get it. A lot of people don't agree with what I say. I think Conte's style now would work wonders with this team. Whether he would have played or bought these players, whatever else, that's not the point I'm making. Can you imagine Conte's style? Dragusin, yes, we still got to see how he can do. But Dragusin, he was good in Italy. I only watched him play one game against Inter, and Inter have only lost one game all season since I last checked the other week, and they're about 15 points clear. And he bossed the game from defence, and he headed the goal in. And that man, he's got a lot of potential. And then you got Romero in the middle, Van der Ven on the left of the three, Udogie as your wing back, Porro as your wing back, and then in the middle, play three, for instance, example, and then the middle can go forward. Go stick Bentancur there, Sarr there, Maddison to come forward. Then I would play Kulusevski as my target man forward, who comes forward a bit, who comes back a bit to play back to goal with Son behind him. Or you could do that with Maddison as the playmaker there, with Son behind him, with, dare I say it, Basuma or Højbjerg sitting there. And play the counter. We're strong enough to do that now. Conte's style would work wonders, in personal opinion, now. Because this out-and-out attacking gung-ho thing, and I really don't dig this inverted wingers. I really don't like it. I really don't like it. Tekken, that channel, We Are Cringe TV. I think I know what one you mean. Well, I'm pretty sure I know what one you mean. Proper tried to mug off Alex yesterday, using him for clickbait. Do you know what? I'll go on anyone's channel. Whether I like the person or not has got nothing to do with it. I still won't be rude to you. But then again, I haven't got to show respect to nobody. I haven't got to respect how they feel or what they think about football, whatever. Because respect, you earn it. But common courtesy goes a long way. Common courtesy is what you've got to show. I'd like to go on the show. I'd go on that TV show. I'd go on anyone's TV and debate my point. But common courtesy goes a long way. And this is what I mean with Alex. He gets stick that he does not deserve. Because the man actually knows what he's talking about. And the joke of it is, the first time I ever came on YouTube, he came on the show as well later on. Said his piece with quite a few things. And quite a few people jumped on him. Lo and behold, I'll say 70% of what he said. Here we are. Alex, mate, you make some brilliant points. And yeah, I'd love to see the club. Try and use me as clickbait, mate. Go for it. Route 2, top women 1 down to Leicester. Mate, I can't answer that one because I can't say I watch women's football easy. It's not that I don't take it serious. I think everyone has got the right to do it. But when I hear a lot of women out there saying women should be paid the same as men, well, when you can go up and fill up a stadium when everyone's paying £100 a ticket, then you can play. Then you can get paid the same as the men. And I won't deny it. I watch some women's football and I see some very good stuff on there. I just feel sorry for their goalkeepers because I've not seen one good woman goalkeeper yet. I mean, the excess baggage is how I say, I don't know quite how to put it, that they have to dive with. I'm sure no goalkeeper envies that. Clubs are only as big as they are because of the fans who don't go to games, fans who live in the other countries, etc. Now, with Spurs, we are one of the biggest clubs in the world when it comes to how supported we are. Very smart move by Levy in that aspect with the NFL getting all that there, because we're one of the most known teams in America. Why is this? Why hasn't he sold us? See, I'm going to Levy, but bollock, I'll go to it. I personally think it's a shrewd bit of business he's pulled off with that stadium. In America, if we had a name for the stadium, I don't know, call it Sainsbury's for all I care. That's what we'll probably end up with. Where are we playing the NFL? Oh, at the Sainsbury's Stadium. Where's that? In America. Oh, no, I'll tell you what, I'll be half nice. Let's just call it the Amazon Stadium. Oh, the Amazon Stadium. Where's that? London. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's where we do our NFL. Okay. Where do we do our NFL? At the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Where's that? That's London. That's that football team, isn't it? Tottenham Hotspur. It got the name everywhere. We're one of the most known teams in America. One of the most supported in America from what I read with stats. I can't go facts, but only what I read. And that is why I think he done that. And you know, if that's what he done, that's a true, that's, we all know he's a quality businessman. We do. And we are very supported in other countries. But what makes you a big club these days is money. If you go by winning things in the past 10 years, then Leicester City should be a bigger club than us. If you go by history of winning things, maybe Aston Villa should be bigger than Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal haven't won anything we haven't won. They've just won a lot more of it. People would say they've won the Premier League. Yeah, but the league's the league at the end of the day. It's just a different name, same as Coca-Cola Cup, League Cup, whatever else. Arsenal haven't won anything we haven't won. We've actually got a better record than them in Europe, and that's the bit that really chews on them. Because until they win that Champions League, they sit on the same table as us. Yes, they've won they've won a lot more than us. They've been better than us. They're bigger than us, whatever. But they haven't won anything we ain't. But if you go by the past, with Aston Villa, they've won the Champions League or the Champions Cup, whatever you want to call it. Technically, they've won more cups than Arsenal. More different cups. They can sit on the big table with AC Milan, Juventus, Inter Milan, Porto, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and the list goes on and on and on. But we can't even sit on the same table over the past 10 years as Leicester City. Leicester bloody City. Brilliant what they've done that year. No two ways about it. But we don't even have a right to be in that top 10. We shouldn't even be in the top 20 clubs in the world. Because I think you go through most of the top 20, we could name 20 clubs in this world who have won a cup in the past 10, 15 years. Call it 24 years since Levy's been there. We've got one cup to our name. Oh, two, sorry. We've got that little friendly one we won. We haven't even got the right to sit on the same table as Leicester City. So just going to catch up with the last couple. Destiny 5. It's clear to see Ange is still learning in the Prem. Just like the players learning his system. Mate, I get it. But my man should have already learned after that Fulham game not to go and do the same thing again 2 games later. Yes, he's still getting the hang of it, but we need to see him adapting. This is what I've said at the start and everyone else is saying as well. Players learning it. All right, they're not going to be 100% with it, 9 months, I think we've had it now. 9 months, 1 game a week. And if he is doing what Dyer says he's doing, week in, week out, as all they're doing is training for his system, these players should have understood the system by now. So no, I'm not going with that one. Not at all. Yeah, Ange, I'll give he needs a little bit more time. But when you go and make the same mistake, 3-0 down until my man makes subs, exactly the same cock up he made at Fulham, he's not learning. But I agree. It's not Ange out. We give him time. Ben, win nothing. How many times, Dan? We are winning in life. Exactly. Modric did the same thing when Levy refused to let him go. Exactly. The Doji suits Italy more, I think. Yeah, he could play in any Italian team, but just the way Bayern Munich have always loved their left back, Alfonso, the one they got now, and the other one, what's his bloody name? He now plays centre back, Real Madrid, if I remember right. They love a good left wing back, and the Doji suits them. But in Italy, he'd do brilliant out there anyway. But he also does very good in the Premier League. Up until the past 5 games, everyone was saying he is the dogs, mate. He is the one. But you are, mate. That's my little brother-in-law. But he just seems to have gone tits up. He's got lazy. Like I said, Destiny. Sorry, I'll go to Kev G. All our players are available, Dan. That's the football tree. But it would be nice to at least get a trophy whilst they're here. It'd be nice to get a trophy no matter who's here. But we don't. That is the problem. Phil, 2109. I hope fans will learn from Kane. The soft approach doesn't work with Levy, as he will always just take advantage. It's only when things are put in a harsh way that he pays attention and does something about it. Or when we're not getting money. David Clark. Making you are totally wrong about Modric. Levy told him that if he didn't qualify in the Champions League, then he would let him go. Which Levy did. You say Modric went on strike, you are clueless. All right, you don't have to put the clueless bit, mate, but I can't answer that one because I don't particularly know what happened here. Right, so just at the end, like I say, I can't catch up with anybody and family's just come in now and the wife is going to want the kitchen. So people, I have to go. Thanks for being on, everybody, and thanks for the comments and everything. It's appreciated. I will be doing a lot more shows, so if you wish to be a member, it is on there. I don't ask for this very often, and I'm not going to be the one who says it every 5 minutes. It's just not the way I work. Give me a like and subscribe, please. It will help a hell of a lot. People, have a good day. It's Sunday. Take it easy.